nothing in the world that I like better than bacon and lettuce and homegrown tomatoes. Up in the garden, out in the morning, get you a big one.
Well, I learned about transition through Transition Marquette, and that was in 2009. And then I started a group here in Cadillac with Transition, and so we've been just doing some things ever since.
Awesome. And what does transition mean to you?
Transition means moving from an old paradigm to a new paradigm, and learning how to live differently, learning how to live with less external resources, not using up as much, and learning how to live more locally, and learning how to be better neighbors with each other, and relearning some of the skills that our great-grandparents used to know, but also moving forward. Well, the 100 YARDen Dash is actually a project of one of our working groups, and that's our food resiliency group. And we hoped that people would learn more about how to grow their own food, and we want to develop our local food system. So with that in mind, we thought it would be a fun way to do it, to challenge people, make it a friendly competition and give them some incentives and get them connected with each other. A lot of people want to grow food, but it's sometimes difficult to know how to start. So if you start together as a community, it's more inspiring. So we're also providing a lot of workshops and education to help people know more about how to grow their own food and also how to preserve their own food.
Hello, I'm Karen Anderson, and this is a potato crate. How to grow potatoes in a crate. We were looking at growing potatoes in a barrel, but the more we researched it, we decided we'd try a different method to allow the potatoes to get maximum sunshine. And then as the potatoes grow up, you add slats. This crate was actually designed and built by Tom and Dwayne Anderson. And you start with your seed potatoes. Only certain varieties work. You plant them in 6 to 8 inches of soil or compost, and then as the potatoes grow up, you mulch with dry leaves. The idea is to increase yield by getting the green part of the plant to grow upwards, and then below your soil and mulch, potatoes are growing in multiple layers. Normally potatoes only grow in one layer, but with this method, the goal is to get them growing in multiple layers, therefore increasing yield. So in a 4-foot square box, you might yield up to 60 pounds of potatoes. So for more information, check out the transitioncadillac.org website.
All right, I'm T.I. Shippers. I live here in Cadillac. I'm a city council member, and I'm a volunteer for Transition Cadillac as well.
And what does transition mean to you?
Transition means coming together as a community and making our small space on the planet a better, safer place for all of us, where we take care of our own, grow our own, build our own community, and work together to just make this the best little spot families can grow.
Yeah. And what's got you excited about the 100 Garden Challenge?
Well, this is really cool. It reminds me of my folks telling stories about victory gardens during World War II and how people were so fired up to grow their own to help with the war effort. Well, here people are fired up to grow their own to help with the earth effort. And I just love that shift of it. And so instead of gardens for victory, this is gardens for peace and gardens for prosperity and gardens for cooperation, and that's what I love about it.
But hey, check out this transition. With the CSA in play, we can meet and make friends with our local food growers and go see a garden where no two plants are the same and interdependence is the name of the game. Or maybe even get a little earth under our nails. Or maybe we want to meet our farmers at the #1 sale. Yeah, I'm talking about community farmers markets. It's a healthy, happy, happening, growing thing. Going local, keeping it natural. Taking pride in purchasing aimed at community building. After all, we are what we eat. Get real. Put your money where your mouth is.
I'm Susan. I'm Ephraim.
And how did you come here today? What brought you here today?
Well, you know, Earth Day is a really important day. It's nice to see a group of people like this. I'm excited about it because I've been involved in Earth Day for over 40 years, since President Nixon actually passed the EPA in '72. Before that, it was because of young people, just like yourselves, that started an uproar about we need to protect our environment. Here we are 40 years later, another young group of, another new generation that's going to make a difference. And that's what it takes, is young people out here to make a difference.
You know, a lot more people growing their own produce, being a little more self-sufficient, you know, getting away from that produce that's in the grocery store and knowing exactly what we're eating, you know. That this is just chemical-free, it's organic, we're reconnected with the earth, and we're making a big difference.
And it is so important to recycle. Recycling is definitely one of the main reasons why we are here today.
Great.
There's many things on the tables and examples that you'll see of everyday things and products that people use, and they eat it and the rest is discarded into the trash and goes into our landfill. It's very important that we recycle these things, like making little seed starters for children. These are your little yogurts, and the tops go on, and then in a week or so, they can plant this in the ground, and then they have their flowers or their vegetables. And then, of course, all of the other seeds that you see, you can get them for next to nothing. And then in the boxes, which is the better way, because when you're done, this is biodegradable. The box can go right in a compost pile, and it's great for the environment. We want to start kids when they're young. We want to show them how important it is that this makes a full circle. And if you start them when they're really young, that's our granddaughter Chloe right there. And she is learning a lot about compost.
You know, we seem to forget a lot, you know, about where our food comes from. By getting these kids involved, getting their hands dirty, so they can actually plant a tomato plant and watch it grow and nurture it, you know, and care about it, you know. It goes beyond, you know, much more than just creating a new environment for, you know, ourselves, but, you know, being reconnected again. It's part of that environmentalism of the spirit. Okay, and it's time for environmental justice. Too many times we've treated our environment like an outdoor John. Well, it's time for us to get together. The way we're going to solve our environmental problems is, number one, personally, to make that decision to recycle, to reduce our energy use, and to reuse, plant trees, protect our wildlife. The second way we're going to do that is by sharing that information with our friends. Just like today is how we're doing it. We're sharing it with our friends will share it with other friends. And the third way we're going to do it is globally, as we start going out and branching out with different parts of the community and even the state.
And this event definitely makes people aware that one person can make a difference.
I got my own people and I got my own name. I got the galaxies in my imagination, creativities to bring to the creation. You are another brand new human being, living and a giving and a growing and a shifting. In everything we do, the other is affected. That's right, we humans are interconnected. My family, billions and billions. My family, all of the children.
My family.
All right, just the fellas, really low.
My family. Oh yeah. My family.
All right, everybody sing it quietly. My family, my family. My family, my family. Oh, you guys sound great. A little bit louder. My family, my family. My family, my family. Oh, just a little bit louder now. My family, my family. My family, my family. Oh, just a little bit louder now. My family, my family. My family, my family. One more time for your mama. My family, my family.
The reason I'm here is that we're starting school gardens at St. Anne's. And it's going to start very small. We're going to just do probably raised beds or cold frames. And I'm going to start it as a gardening club. And I've already had actually some students here today that came and they're ready to sign up. And it'll be good for kids because a lot of kids they know what ketchup is and they know what French fries are. But they don't necessarily know that that comes from a tomato and a potato. So it'll be really good to get them out there. They were very excited about worms that were here, chicken tractor. I think they had some funny thoughts of what that could possibly be. They got really excited. I told them about growing potatoes in a barrel, so we'll probably do that at school.
There he is. That's the same guy.
Can you just introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing
Sure.
here?
Hi there, my name's Gary Michaelek from Benzie County. I'm a master gardener and a master composter, and I do worm composting or vermicomposting. This is where you take worms and you feed them your kitchen scraps, like that. You feed them kitchen scraps and they will eat the kitchen scraps, process them, and give you vermicompost, which is a very, very, very concentrated fertilizer. It's organic material. The whole vermicomposting cycle is great because it reuses your scraps. You get organics from it. Absolutely great. You can do this in a Rubbermaid tote, in your garage, in your basement, wherever. This is a finished worm bin. It's about ready to be harvested. This is what one looks like just after you make it. The worms will eat about 1 or 2 times their weight every week. They're a special kind of worm. They're called Icenia fetida, or red wigglers, but they're very, very efficient. The transition is part of what you do with the community gardens. It's part of getting the idea of things like this, vermicomposting at home, educating people, getting people the knowledge to be able to do this on their own, to become self-sustainable.
Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Darcy Tacoma. I'm on the steering team for Transition Cadillac, so I've been a part of this for about a year now.
What does transition mean to you?
I guess right now it's mostly the food aspect that I'm looking at. Trying to grow my own food, you know, so food travels. It doesn't travel as far, and it promotes a greater sustainability in the local area.
And what's your vision for like a greener Cadillac, like 5 years from now?
5 years from now, I would hope that Cadillac is trucking in as little produce as necessary. Maybe just, you know, some of the more exotic plants that don't grow around here, like, you know, oranges. And relying less and less on fossil fuels.
If you could just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mayor Bill Barnett. I'm from Cadillac, and I'm the mayor of Cadillac right now.
Great. And what brings you here today for the 100 Garden Kickoff?
The 100 Garden Kickoff, I've signed up for a garden with my family. We're looking forward to engaging in that activity. We're celebrating Earth Day today. It's just wonderful to be down here. I was in 5th or 6th grade when this first happened, and I can remember that day as a young child. I see these kids here today, and I hope they learn the same lessons I learned, and that conservation's a good thing, and really stopping your life for a second and appreciating what the earth has to offer.
Why do you think the local food movement is important for Cadillac?
It's fresher food, it's better food. The food's being shared with people that need it. I mean, the economy is bad enough right now where this could be a game changer for the nutrition of a lot of families. So it's either going to go to us and or leftovers to people that need it, and hopefully everybody in town is going to do the same.
I'm Mark Baker. I live over in Marion. I run an 80-acre farm, and I'm also a part of Transition Cadillac. And so I came out today. I wouldn't miss this. A lot of people out here milling around, and we're showing off a demonstration of some of the things that we do here. This is just a couple of things. I brought a chicken tractor over here and some chickens in it to complete the demonstration. I brought some of this product that we make, that we tend our soil with. It's called biochar. It is a charred wood. Here's a piece. It's charred wood. We make this, we have a machine that makes it called a retort that we built. And it provides a place for bacteria to live, bacteria that would be in the soil. And the bacteria is the building blocks of soil. Right? The bacteria can live in this, and it can maintain its health because this will hold a lot of water. So you can have a really dry spell, but the water that is held in this biochar will keep the health of the bacteria up.
I've also heard it helps with climate change. It like sequesters the carbon longer.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we have this big problem with too much carbon in our atmosphere, and it's causing some problems. This stuff, once the wood is cooked down to a carbon, straight carbon, that carbon is sequestered for a long, long time. So, you know, to explain that, wood that's just sitting out on the forest floor eventually becomes carbon dioxide, and it's in our environment. But if we can sequester it into carbon, you know, hard carbon like that, then we hold on to it. And we're taking carbon dioxide, the potential for carbon dioxide, off the playing field.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Healing our soil and the climate at the same time.
Yeah, and then we don't have to use chemical fertilizers at all. This stuff will propagate good soil growth over many, many years. They'll outlive me by a long time.
And could we just take a look at the chicken coop too?
Sure,
the chicken tractor real quick?
This thing is called the chicken tractor, right? This one is half size to the ones we use on our farm. And my kids build these. My son Joe really is the main guy. He builds these. And the principle here is we have chickens in here, and we can move this every single day. So there's only 5 chickens in here now, but there could be as many as 30 in here. And it does 2 things. It distributes their manure evenly on the soil or the field, which is really good, because chicken manure is excellent fertilizer for grass like this, and it gives the chickens something good to eat. They can eat some of this grass, clover. They can scratch through a little bit and get bugs, and it's good for them. That's what they need. They were kind of designed to eat that stuff. We also give them a ration of you know, whatever we want to feed them. It could be barley, it could be corn. Some people don't want GMO stuff, so you can feed them that if you want. But chickens like this will eat household scraps too, stuff that you can't use. So we think this is a great addition to the transition movement, because your average person with no experience, we can train them in about a half a day how to use this, and they can churn out chickens off of their grass and refuse from their house for their freezer, and then we can show them how to process the chickens and get those put in the freezer. So chickens are an excellent source of protein if they're grown right. If they're grown poorly, probably not something you even want to eat. I could be wrong, but I don't think the price at the pumps is coming down anytime soon. It never does. So I think it's just going to be tougher to get fuel. And so we're going to have to learn to change the way we do things. Now, why can't everybody in Cadillac grow their own chickens in their backyard? They could. And it's easy to do, and it's fulfilling, and you're building a society of people that can take care of themselves. They don't have to go to the supermarket to get food. They can create their own food. And you don't want anybody controlling your food. I'm going through a real scrap right now, and I know firsthand you don't want anybody controlling your food.
There comes a time, and the time is coming near. We are the people, and the people need to lead.
Well, I'm Seth Bernard.
All right, great. And what does transition mean to you?
Transition to me is a very inclusive framework and philosophy for practical, tangible things that we can do in our communities to move toward the future in a smart way that's inclusive and that faces the challenges of our time with action that could create a better tomorrow. And so we see the results of this in a lot of the transition towns, and definitely here in Cadillac.
Tell us a little bit about the Earthworks Music Collective. Like, how did you form it, and what are some of the other projects you guys are doing?
Earthwork Music was formed sort of organically as a group of us were making records together and supporting each other in the recording process. Then we started to do events together, creating events, and from the beginning they started to have a lot to do with food. The first event we ever did was the Earthwork Harvest Gathering, which is now in its 12th year, and that's a celebration of the harvest and also a celebration of the music community. So another project that we do is we support Bioneers every year, and there's 2 of them in Michigan. There's a Great Lakes Bioneers in Traverse and one in Detroit. That's the crossroads of ecological work and social justice work. So it's a summit of all these visionaries on a national level, and those satellite conferences all over the country are doing things on a local level. We started the Water Festival. That's another big project. It's a platform to talk about the stewardship of the Great Lakes and the global water crisis while celebrating great elements of local culture, local food, local music, artisans, stuff for kids. Another project that we've been doing is an after-school workshop program with Seeds, where we go into 12 different schools in northwest lower Michigan and we do songwriting workshops with teenagers. So in 90 minutes we write a brand new song and perform it and record it. So a lot of that is, you know, creative empowerment, empowering people to use their energy for creative means and for constructive means. And I think for young folks it's just totally essential. I know it was for me. You know, a song can change the world, a painting can change the world. I feel like music is really important because it has that intrinsic quality of bringing people together. It travels through the air, and you know, if you hear a nice melody and some nice harmonies and a good beat, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to gravitate towards it if you have a pulse. So I think that it's just like music, especially music that has an intention behind it or a message behind it. It's very important to the movement because it can entertain and educate and inspire people in a way that nothing else can.
What's your favorite garden produce?
Oh golly, whatever is coming right off the vine. My kids would go out. We have a big garden space in the backyard, and they would, you know, want a snack, and just go down and see what there is to munch. And when the beans were ready, they'd be just down there pulling them right off the vine and munching on the beans, or grabbing little cherry tomatoes off of there, or pulling greens up, the mint, whatever is there, whatever you grow is my favorite at the time.
Cool.
Well, you could eat an orange or a red delicious, purple plum or pink grapefruit, but I'm talking about a color that's so nutritious, and I'm about to.
And what's your favorite produce that you grow?
Mine is tomatoes.
Oh yeah, kind of a salsa kind of guy.
Salsa garden.
Cool.
My favorite is probably the green pepper, or maybe peas.
Awesome. And what's your favorite part of gardening, about gardening?
For me?
Yeah.
I think it is actually when a child pulls a carrot out of the ground and just that look on their face when they're just like, whoa, and it just keeps pulling up and they're just so happy.
My favorite part of gardening? Eating the tomatoes.
Cool. You got some good stuff going with community gardens as well.
Yes, actually we started out with 3 community gardens in our area. And with the registrations that we've received now, we have 12 community gardens. So, and I expect that will grow also.
Awesome.
And another exciting thing about community gardens is that our city has agreed that they will provide city lots owned by the city for neighborhood and community gardens.
And I've heard it's been pretty successful so far?
Very successful, yes. We have 139 gardens registered right now, today. And that's probably not, it's not going to stop there because the season has really just started.
I wanna be mean, but I get a little feisty without my greens. Soon as I spoke, he started cooking some up. I didn't mean to be rude, I didn't mean to be tough. There's just a few